Good morning.
Good morning.
It is a great morning, and it is, I believe, a historic day in the life of the University of Charleston, and perhaps even in the life of the Kanawha Valley and the life of West Virginia. The University of Charleston is now UC-Charleston, UC-Beckley, UC-Martinsburg, and UC-Net, or online. The Higher Learning Commission, the national accrediting body for our region, has approved the university's proposal to offer programs and courses in Beckley and Martinsburg, West Virginia, and to offer programs and courses online via distance education. Some things are called historic but are not. But I think the term does fit today's occasion. I'm not sure if I can capture the meaning fully of what it is that we are doing, but let me try. The confusion and heartbreak experienced by Mountain State students when they learned that Mountain State was going to lose its accreditation at the end of this month is now replaced with a clear path forward for them. They can enroll today with the University of Charleston to complete their Mountain State requirements and earn a UC degree in May. Or they may enroll today to continue their studies in Beckley, Martinsburg, or online and graduate when they have earned their UC degree. Students who wanted to attend Mountain State in Beckley or Martinsburg, or across the country, or for that matter, around the world, can enroll today in the University of Charleston to pursue their degrees through distance education and online. The community leaders of Beckley and the residents of southern West Virginia, who were fearful of losing one of their most significant building blocks in that part of the state, can now know that there will be a private four-year college located in Beckley, West Virginia, working with and serving those communities and that region. The strategic plan of the University of Charleston to become a school of 2,500 students by adding blended learning and distance education and by using technology to hold down the cost of a college education is now well on its way to being fulfilled. At some future date, others will relate and tell better than we can today the magnitude of what we are announcing. But in my mind, the word unprecedented comes to the fore. Do you know of another instance in which a financially healthy higher education institution was told that it was going to lose its accreditation and have to close its doors? Do you know of another instance in which two institutions worked together as partners so one could replace the other, not through a merger or acquisition, but through a startup venture? It was just July 29th when we announced and signed a memorandum of agreement for the University of Charleston and Mountain State to work together. Now, less than 4.5 months later, we are announcing 9 new degree programs at 3 new locations, including distance education. So to try to give a little perspective to what I've just said. Also, this January, a month from now, the University of Charleston will enroll its first physician assistance class here in Charleston. That class will have 30 students in it. We moved through the developmental stages for that program as quickly as possible, and it took 3 years. One program, 30 students, 6 faculty and staff, a 2% increase in UC's enrollment, and it took 3 years. Today, we are announcing 32 programs being offered in 3 new locations, 9 totally new programs, 600 or more additional students, 65 faculty and staff, perhaps a 50% increase in the enrollment of the University of Charleston, and it's happening in 4.5 months. How did we get here? We had a memorandum of understanding that I mentioned between UC and Mountain State, and the memorandum laid out the course that we both sought to pursue. Next was the teach-out plan for University of Charleston to teach Mountain State students who could graduate by May of this coming year. The plan was written by Mountain State. It incorporated the University of Charleston as a partner, and it was approved by the Higher Learning Commission. Then followed a master agreement between the two institutions, and that agreement detailed the conditions for UC to lease the facilities currently being used by Mountain State, and then to acquire them at a future date. And now today we are announcing the approval of the University of Charleston moving forward with new programs and the new locations. Additional information, as you would expect, is available on the internet and the web at www.ucwb.edu. The timeline is still quick and short. On January 8th and 9th, we'll have ribbon cutting ceremonies in Beckley and Martinsburg. Online programs will begin on January the 7th, 4 weeks from yesterday. And classes in Beckley and Martinsburg will begin on January the 14th. I'm grateful to many, many people for helping us to get to this point. Provost Letha Zook did the curricular analyses, wrote the proposals, and hired the faculty. Chief Financial Officer Cleta Harless has overseen the contractual aspects, a myriad of details, and the hiring of staff. Area President Jerry Forster will direct our work in Beckley and Martinsburg. The interim president of Mountain State, Richard Sowers, has been consistently helpful, and many others at each of these sites has been a part of making this happen. Just as important, the Higher Learning Commission has worked with us so well. Their approval of these requests has taken place on an accelerated timetable and with special considerations that have made today's announcement possible. We are humbled by their confidence that they have expressed in the university's ability to add these locations and these programs. And we are energized by the opportunity to bring to new students and to new communities the University of Charleston's resources, programs, and culture. Dr. Paul Hill, the Chancellor for Higher Education for West Virginia, is here, so I invite him to make a comment about his reaction, and then we'll ask the chair of our board to make comment as well.
Thank you again, Dr. Welch. I'm pleased to be here today. I do think this is, as Dr. Welch indicated, a very momentous occasion that we can celebrate the forward thinking and the opportunity for students, particularly here in southern West Virginia, particularly in the Beckley area. As you're all aware, earlier this year, we had a very unusual situation, very profound situation, as Dr. Welch indicated. And foremost in our minds, in the Policy Commission and with the governor, were the concern for the students. What opportunities would they have in the future? Where would they be placed? Where would they be able to fulfill their dreams of achieving a college education? With those, you could see there were lots more question marks than there were answers at that point. We began working with the students in particular to try to find placement. And I have to tell you, I was very relieved the day that Dr. Welch called me and indicated that although we had had several conversations and UC was very much engaged in trying to provide assistance to the students very early on, but when he called me and indicated that UC would move forward with full implementation of a merger of sorts with the institution, that was a huge relief to me. It was a huge relief to the governor in knowing that, again, those dreams of students would go forward, that there would be opportunities to move forward. So I think this is a great outcome for our state. It is a great outcome for the students, and knowing that the fine work that goes on here at the University of Charleston will now be shared with those other sites around the state in providing those opportunities to not only students today, but students of the future as well. So congratulations, Dr. Welch. I know the HLC approval was pivotal in this process, and certainly it does give the good housekeeping stamp of approval, if you will, for how we move forward and ensure that those students have a quality education, and they will. Thank you.
I thank Dr. Hill. I thank him for his leadership for higher education in West Virginia and for a long-time friendship that he and I have had since the day I first came to West Virginia. There are some statements from political leaders that are in the press packet, so I'll invite the media to give attention to those. Now I invite the chair of the University of Charleston Board, Dr. Henry Harmon, to make comments, and before he does that, we are supposedly gently to remove this covering of the sign. So are we up to that, Henry?
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to say just a few words on behalf of the Board of Trustees. We are, as a board, delighted with the actions that are being taken by the university here to grow and to fill the void that was left in Beckley and Martinsburg. We are very proud of the leadership of Dr. Welch and his team, as he's described it here. They have, the work that they've done over the last 4 months is clearly just incredible. It's unsurpassed in what was able to be accomplished in such a short amount of time. And the University of Charleston has been a treasure for this community for a long time. Those of us who live here know that and appreciate it very much. We have every reason to believe that it will continue to do the great work that is done here in Charleston, extending it into Beckley and Martinsburg, that will build linkages through communities of learners in those communities, and that those linkages will build those communities and build prosperity. So this is a very important time for not only Charleston, for this institution, for those other cities, but it's an important time for the state of West Virginia because it begins to the start of a new institution here. We have been talking at the University of Charleston for a long time about learning your way. It's a concept that's made the University of Charleston very unique, and to be able to craft custom programs of learning for students, and it makes us a very unique institution. And now in addition to that, we're saying with our distance programs and our blended learning that you can learn where you are. And this is something that is going to change the way that higher education is delivered in this state. We're very confident of that fact, and we're very eager for you to watch us grow and to watch our results. Again, I thank you very much for coming here today, and I'm just to express on behalf, again, of the Board of Trustees just how confident we are in this institution that's going forward. Thank you.
We're happy to take a question or two in the larger group, and then lots of us will be available for individual conversations as you wish. Any questions somebody wants to pose in this venue? Okay, we'll be available for interviews. Thank you all, everybody who's seated here, who's worked hard to make this happen. It is really a team effort and project that will be going forward. We will change in ways that we can't envision right now, and we will find that as exciting and know that it will benefit the students and people across the state and beyond. So thank you all.